Okay, so for those coming in just now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and explain spectral emissive power once more. But before I explain that, let's try to understand it through an example. So for instance, we all understand velocity time graph, right? I mean, we all understand velocity varying as a function of time, and we understand what it implies. For instance, imagine you have an object which starts with almost zero velocity, it increases its speed, and then it slows down again. So imagine you have an object moving in this manner. Okay? Now we know a couple of things. We know that the area under this graph is distance. We know the area under the graph is distance. We know that velocity around a region in a way tells us, or velocity around an instant in a way tells us how much distance is, or rather how quickly distance is getting covered near that instant. So let me rephrase that. Velocity near a particular instant, t naught, velocity near a particular instant tells us how quickly distance is being covered near that instant. है ना? तो जितना ज्यादा वेलोसिटी इन अ वे क्या बता रहा है हमें, ज्यादा वेलोसिटी बता रहा है कितना जल्दी डिस्टेंस कवर होता है अराउंड दैट इंस्टेंट, है ना? सो द वे वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग velocity, we just starting, we are revising. For those coming in, we are revising spectral emissive power. This is the first page. I'm revising spectral emissive power. We are trying to understand it through an example. So the way you understand velocity, as how quickly distance gets covered near that instant, है ना? The same way I would suggest you try to understand spectral emissive power in the sense that I'll repeat that. So in the sense कि spectral emissive power का मान लो ऐसा graph है, and we are trying to understand this term which is on the y-axis. You know, we're trying to understand what this term means. So first and foremost, what you can say is the area under this graph is going to be total emissive power. What is total emissive power? Total heat emitted per unit area per unit time. तो जैसा वहां पे the area under the velocity time graph means distance, यहाँ पे the entire area under the graph means total emissive power. फिर वहां पे जैसा the velocity near a particular instant told me how quickly distance is being covered around that instant, है ना? So velocity near a particular instant gave me a feel of how quickly distance is being covered around that instant. For instance, if velocity over here is 2 meters per second and velocity over here is 4 meters per second, we are going to say velocity over here is distance is being covered twice as fast at this time instant in comparison to distance being covered at this time instant. And the rate at which distance is being covered is faster over here, slower over here. Why? Because velocity is more in the first case. यहाँ पे भी वैसे ही समझो. यहाँ पे कैसे समझना है? So the spectral emissive power near a particular wavelength tells you how much of the total emissive power is coming from that wavelength or coming from a small band near that wavelength. यहाँ पे how much distance is being covered around that instant or how quickly distance is being covered around that instant. यहाँ पे this y coordinate represents कितना emissive power का contribution आ रहा है इस wavelength के around से. For instance, if I see a portion in the graph जहाँ पे spectral emissive power इतना है, and I see another portion of the graph जहाँ से spectral emissive power इतना है, which wavelength are we going to say is more dominant? किससे ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन आ रहा है टोटल एमिसिव पावर का? फर्स्ट वन. So that's the idea. ठीक है, that is the idea behind spectral emissive power. It's a measure of, in a way, it's a measure of कितना emissive power उस wavelength से आता है. तो E lambda अगर ज्यादा है तो ज्यादा वो wavelength ज्यादा prominent है. E lambda अगर ज्यादा है तो वो wavelength ज्यादा prominent है, उसका contribution total emissive power में ज्यादा है. That is one thing to understand. The second thing to understand is the area under this graph is total emissive power. Those are the two important things to understand. So let me just try writing that. Band, if I use the word band, by band I mean small range of wavelength. जैसे टाइम के लिए टाइम इंटरवल बोलोगे, यहाँ पे तुम वेवलेंथ इंटरवल बोल सकते हो या एक स्मॉल बैंड ऑफ वेवलेंथ बोल सकते हो. ठीक है, E lambda is this, come on, yeah, E lambda is the term we're trying to understand. E lambda is spectral emissive power. E lambda is spectral emissive power. One of you saying, can we say bandwidth? You can say band. So bandwidth actually, एक मिनट. Bandwidth will be the width of the band. है ना, मान लो 799 नैनोमीटर से 801 नैनोमीटर जाओगे तो बैंड विथ इज द विथ ऑफ द बैंड. मतलब जैसे इस केस में दिस इज 1 नैनोमीटर विथ, दैट्स bandwidth is the width of the band. That interval as such can be called as a wavelength band, yeah, something like that. D lambda is what we anyways are referring. You can call it as D lambda. Okay, all right. So spectral emissive power is in a way the emissive power per unit lambda, in a way, or it's basically the rate of change of total emissive power. Just say if you're sitting and counting from this end, you sit and count kitna total emissive power hai. So as you sit and count the total emissive power, spectral emissive power at a particular wavelength tells you how much more you're going to add around that wavelength, how much addition you're making to the total emissive power from a region around that wavelength. Okay? So that's kind of the idea. So basically, in summary, these are two things you need. Okay? As such, इस पे ज़्यादा PhD नहीं करना है, but make sure you understand these two things. If you understand these two things, you're in a way good to go. First of all, the graph, which will come later, we'll properly see this graph again. Okay? That's again a specific topic. So we'll see that graph later. But at this stage, एक चीज, greater your spectral emissive power, lambda is your subscript, greater the spectral emissive power implies greater the E lambda for a specific wavelength. Remember, this is for a specific wavelength. So greater the spectral emissive power for a specific wavelength, greater the emissive power for a specific wavelength, greater that wavelengths contribution to so greater the wavelength's contribution to prominence in the total emissive power. That is one important thing to understand. The other thing to understand is, of course, as indicated in the diagram, the area under the graph tells you the total MSFR. The area under the graph tells you the total MSFR. Okay? So basically, E lambda ka integration across all wavelengths will give you total emissive power. E lambda ka integration across all wavelengths will give you total emissive power. Yeah, this is a slash. Contribution to slash prominence in. Uh, greater E lambda, greater the presence of that wavelength in the entire spectrum. Okay? That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay, just reading the chat again. Bandwidth is, you don't need to know it right now, but bandwidth means the width of the band, literally. So you can talk about bandwidth. So it's a range of frequencies or a range of wavelengths. You can describe bandwidth in a frequency range, or you can describe the bandwidth in a wavelength range. But bandwidth is exactly that. 700 nanometer, for instance, colored spectrum, visible region का bandwidth क्या है? 300 nanometer का bandwidth है, because it's from 400 nanometers to roughly 700 nanometers. That's what bandwidth means. Anyways, that's not really very relevant time being. Okay. It's a communication systems related topic. Yes, but it's also a very simple English word which you can understand. See, bandwidth वही है, मतलब Wi-Fi वगैरह में भी होता है, but that's what that basically means is this the range of frequencies that something is emitting. It's like a frequency range or a wavelength range. Different instruments are forced to operate in different bandwidths, so that there's no mixing of signals वगैरह वगैरह. Television air hota hai, that's a different bandwidth. Phone, mobile communications are a different bandwidth. Radio is a different bandwidth. Lambda not कुछ relevant नहीं है, वो बस explain करते वक्त ऐसे lambda not label किया. You want to remove lambda not, you can remove it as well. हटा दो lambda not चाहिए तो diagram से. Nothing specifically relevant. I think I believe यहाँ पे भी ये, हाँ यहाँ पे ये diagram भी mention किया था. So around a particular wavelength, d lambda का interval ले लो. If dE is the contribution to emissive power from that interval, E lambda is divided defined as dE by d lambda. dE by d lambda, which we saw last time anyways. Done writing this? Anyone is still writing? Just say wait. Okay, nobody's saying wait. So let's move on then. Is my voice cracking for everyone? Or is it just somebody wants to know if it's just them? Then it's just you. Okay. All right. So next, what we're going to see is let's define. We'll just define what a somebody is saying it's a problem with your bandwidth. Very fun. Okay, let's define what a black body is. Okay? So, and this is just the preliminary definition. We're going to come back to this definition of a black body a little later again. So just a preliminary idea. An ideal black body Somebody is saying you studied this in chem. How come? Okay, interesting. An ideal black body is one which absorbs, okay, you guys know this then, which absorbs all of the thermal radiations incident on it. ठीक है, atomic structure में हुआ था थोड़ा. Okay, so an ideal black body is one which absorbs all of the thermal radiations incident on it. So in that case, if you remember the last class, we mentioned some terms: absorptivity, reflectivity, and transmittivity. What will their values be for an ideal black body? Very nice. So your absorptivity therefore has to be 1. This is the fraction it's absorbing. So the absorptivity has to be 1, and the rest will naturally end up being 0. So absorptivity is 1, reflectivity and transmittivity will be 0. Okay, that's what a black body is. Okay, just to give you some idea, experimentally, a guy named Ferry. So the way he modeled a nearly perfect black body was by saying, let's construct a sphere. What he did was he constructed a blackened sphere. Okay, this is painted black from inside. This is a sphere painted black from inside. You can see a small hole. Samarth, you're right, but that's an idea which will come up later. Okay, so let's not talk about that now. Filal, Ferry's black body is one which is painted. It's painted black from inside, so this entire surface is black. And then also what he'll do is he'll place some kind of a small pointed surface like this. Okay? And then the whole idea is this hole over here behaves as a black body. Now, why does this hole behave as a black body? So first of all, what is a black body? Let's see the definition. One which absorbs all of the radiations incident on it. Okay? So technically, objects which are colored black tend to absorb most of the radiations incident on them, but they don't absorb everything. Okay? They tend to absorb most of the radiations, but still they are, of course, reflecting some amount of light. It's never completely unfathomably black. But in this case, this experimental model that is created is a sphere which is painted black from inside. Okay? And even this kind of conical, this kind of wedge type thing that is pasted over here, that is also, of course, painted black. And what is going to happen is, first of all, when light comes and as light enters through the hole, first of all, because this surface is black, most of the radiations are going to be absorbed by it. Most of the radiations are going to be absorbed by it. So the green part is just a pointed shaped object. The purpose of the green part is to ensure that light rays don't reflect and go back in that direction. The purpose of that green thing is just to send the reflected rays in some other direction. So first and foremost, a large percentage of these rays are absorbed directly. It's not like a mirror. It's a black object. The black object is going to absorb most of the rays. मिरर तो लगभग सब कुछ रिफ्लेक्ट करता है, ये लगभग सब कुछ अब्सॉर्ब करेगा. अब लगभग सब कुछ अब्सॉर्ब करेगा. In fact, this color is a little misleading. Let me just paint this black. Okay. This is something which is black in shape, black in color. So this is going to already, it's going to absorb most of the radiations falling on it. Okay? And then what is going to happen? थोड़ा सा कुछ amount reflect होगा. अब ये ट्राइंगुलर शेप का उतना ही काम है टू एंश्योर कि ये रिफ्लेक्ट होके वैसा नहीं जाएगा, रिफ्लेक्ट होके कोई और रैंडम डायरेक्शन में जाएगा. अब कोई और रैंडम डायरेक्शन में जाके अगेन दिस रे स्ट्राइक्स द सरफेस. As it strikes the surface, again majority of this ray is also absorbed. फिर again only a very small percentage will be reflected. ठीक है, और रिफ्लेक्ट होके भी किधर जाएगा, वापस उसी पे गिरेगा. तो अगेन मेजॉरिटी इज अब्सॉर्ब, वेरी स्मॉल पोर्शन इज रिफ्लेक्टेड. अगेन कहाँ पे गिरेगा, यहीं पे लगभग गिरेगा. अगेन मेजॉरिटी इज अब्सॉर्ब एंड सो ऑन. अल्टीमेटली this is such a small hole, that the probability of the rays coming back out are very small. All right, so first of all, that black pointed shape ensures that it doesn't get reflected back through the hole. Okay? And then your entire surface is painted black from inside, so every reflection, most of the light rays are getting absorbed. Intensity is diminishing through every single reflection. And finally, because the hole is small in size, the probability of the light rays coming out from the hole again is very rare. So in that sense, you will say that this hole behaves as a black body, not the entire sphere. Because यहाँ से तुम light ray भेजो तो this, of course, it could get reflected, but the hole behaves as a black body because whatever is going inside the hole doesn't seem to be coming back out. Got the idea? The hole behaves as a perfect black body. I'll explain again. So the hole behaves as a perfect black body for, in fact, the hole behaves as a perfect black body, not the entire sphere. It's just the hole. Okay? It's just the hole which behaves as a perfect black body. Yeah, the probability of the light coming back out is negligible. So, एक second. So let me just address your doubts. One of you is saying, does the black body get heated? Yes, it's absorbing energy, so it's getting heated. But we'll see later, it also emits energy. So there's going to be a balance of the two. It's absorbing, it's emitting as well. And we'll see when it gets heated, when it cools down. Okay? Another person is asking me, how do colors absorb radiations? It's not about the color is not the cause, the color is the effect. Certain materials absorb all colored wavelengths. So because those materials absorb all colored wavelengths, no color gets reflected from it. So they appear black to us. Certain other materials reflect all colored wavelengths. So when all colored wavelengths are reflected, their combination appears as white to us. Certain other materials may absorb red and green wavelengths, only reflect blue. So it appears blue to us. Okay, that's the idea. That's the idea. It's not that the color is magically absorbing everything. It's the material, the chemistry, something inside the body which is really absorbing all the colors and then appears black to us. Color is what you see in the end because of the way the body absorbs or reflects light. All right. And what else? Let me just see the so the light rays, last time light rays are entering through the hole, but the chances of the rays, that ray coming back out of the hole is almost negligible. So light is entering, radiations are falling on the hole, and the chances of the radiations being transmitted over to the other side is obviously zero, opaque hai. but the chance of it being reflected back is almost zero, is negligible. So this is a theoretical black body that you should be aware of. Yeah, so it's painted black from the inside. It's also small in size. Small size ensures low probability. Small size ensures low probability of the rays coming back out. Okay. Any doubts in this? Yes, yes, please note this down. If you're writing, that is. No, it's so one of is asking, is there low probability because what is going in has reduced? वो बात नहीं है, तुम अंदर जितना भेजना चाहते हो भेज सकते हो. छोटा होल के कारण, I hope you understand कि it becomes more and more difficult for the light ray to escape. होल बड़ा होता तो escape होता था शायद, but होल छोटा है ना, so the probability of it hitting that specific point on the sphere of all points is almost negligible. Okay, so that's how the small size in a way ensures low probability of the rays coming back out. छोटा सा होल से तुम लाइट भेजोगे, chances are कि you'll never see that light ray come back out. Yeah, that's the idea. Yes, yes, everything inside, including the wedge, is going to be black. Everything inside, including the wedge, will have to be black. Small hole, कोई बोला small hole ensures very less light goes inside. वो बात नहीं है. Light तुम again last time light तो तुम जितना चाहते हो भेज दो ना, एक लेजर को इधर खड़ा कर दो. You can keep sending light inside. उसमें क्या problem है? It's not about small less amount of light going inside. It's about whatever goes inside, कम या ज्यादा, वो लौटना नहीं चाहिए. So वो small hole का ये पॉइंट है कि लौटने का चांस नेग्लिजिबल हो जाता है. The chance कि the reflected ray is going to hit that specific point, that chance is very low, that probability is very low. That is the purpose of the small hole. Okay, it's not about sending lesser rays inside, it's about ensuring कि जो भी अंदर भेजा कम या ज्यादा वो बाहर नहीं आएगा. I hope now you guys have understood that. ठीक है, and reading one last doubt, is there any reason that it is the shape of a sphere? नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. No specific reason कि it's the shape of a sphere. The sphere is a more commonly found object, so he just took a black shaped ball, so he just took a spherical ball and kind of created this thing. It's a common shape और कुछ नहीं. And even had this been some kind of a rectangular box and you put some kind of wedge on the opposite end, chances are it can still serve the same purpose. Okay. Cool. Let's move on then. All right, so I've just briefly, you're going to understand more about black bodies in some time, but right now we just had to define black bodies for this definition. अच्छा, एक last time कोई बोल रहा है sir this is non-reflecting, it's non-reflecting, so how light is getting reflected? तो ये भी समझो कि when I'm drawing this extra ray, I'm not implying कि the rays are really getting reflected. I'm still saying कि yeah, close to 99% of the rays are absorbed. It's only a very small percentage which is getting reflected. only a very small percentage is getting reflected. Black objects in general will absorb most of the rays. कुछ amount हल्का सा reflect होगा, तो ये वो ड्रॉ किया जो हल्का सा रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, फिर यहाँ पे भी और हल्का सा रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, यहाँ पे भी और हल्का सा रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, ठीक है। अल्टीमेटली 4-5 रिफ्लेक्शन के बाद ऑलमोस्ट मतलब गायब ही हो गए रे। that's kind of the idea. Ultimately all the rays after multiple reflections will be completely absorbed by the internal surface of this black body. Okay? Yeah, the intensity of the rays, the energy the rays are carrying, that decreases considerably after each successive reflection till the rays are finally completely absorbed. Okay, all right, cool. So now we're going to define a term called as emissivity. Okay, now this is, I mean, it's important to never confuse this term with emissive power. Okay, so emissivity ka symbol is small e, and if you remember emissive power ka symbol was capital E. Okay, and this is where these terms actually start to differ. If you were to look at the terms we defined at this point on page 5, if you can see ki A was a symbol used for absorptivity and also for absorptive power. Notice this: absorptivity, absorptive power; reflectivity, reflecting power; transmittivity, transmitting power. है ना, यहाँ पे कुछ भी नाम यूज कर लो, एक ही चीज था बेसिकली, है ना। एनीथिंग विद द वर्ड absorb in it refer to the same thing, but that is not true for emission. So just watch out for that. Emission में you have something called as emissive power, represented by the symbol capital E, which is energy per unit area per unit time, है ना. And now you have something called as emissivity, represented by the symbol small e. And look at how emissivity is defined. It is defined as emissive power of a body. So the emissivity of a body is defined as the emissive power of the body at a particular temperature T. This can be any temperature, divided by the emissive power of a black body. Okay, and I mean by black body, I mean perfect black. Okay, not something which is just colored black, but when we talk about black bodies in this context, we mean an ideal perfect black body. Okay, so emissive power of the body at temperature T upon emissive power of a black body at the same temperature T, at the same temperature T. Okay, one of you guys is saying ki, one of you guys is saying, sir, all black bodies are not black. Is that statement true? All black bodies will have to be black. Okay, all black bodies will have to be black. Come on, what is a black body doing? Absorbing all the radiations falling on it. That means visible spectrum से भी जो गिरता है, visible spectrum से भी जो गिरता है वो भी absorb होना चाहिए. तो all black bodies are black in color, but all black colored objects are not perfect black bodies. Yes, don't get confused. Every black colored object is not a black body, but every black body is black. Every black body is black. A black body is going to absorb all the radiations. It's also going to absorb all the colors falling on it. Okay. And one of you saying, sir, ye Ferry's black body mein, what are you saying? The hole wasn't black in color. Baba, what do you think you're gonna see when you look at the hole? When you place your eye over there and you're trying to look at the hole, what color do you think the hole will look to you? Is any light coming from the hole towards your eyes? There's no light coming from the hole towards your eyes. So the hole is going to look black to you. You don't need a black painted object to appear. This space has nothing. It appears black, right? Because there's no particles jisse light aa raha hai. So if no light is coming, it's going to appear black to you. All right. So all black bodies are black. Reverse is not true. Any random black colored object is not a black body. है ना अपना if your watch has a black strap, that's not a black body. Phone is black, that's not a black body. Black body is a very specific thing जो हर चीज जो उस पे गिर रहा है ऑब्जॉर्व करता है. तो back to this, emissivity का definition क्या है? Is defined as emissive power of the body at temperature T upon emissive power of the black body at the same temperature. And that's it. We are just going to mention the definition now. And in some time, this is all going to piece together and make sense. ठीक है? फिलहाल ये हो गया definition. इतना हो गया definition. अब इससे emissivity का क्या range होगा? How to make more sense of it, we'll understand in some time. Okay? But just to give you a little hint, थोड़ा आगे का अगर just एक hint दे देता हूँ, you will find कि this denominator is always bigger or equal to than your numerator. So at a particular temperature, you're going to find that the black body emits more energy as well. At a particular temperature, you're going to find that the black body emits more energy as well. So this is going to be a ratio less than equal to 1. कुछ ही देर में हम explain करके वो prove करेंगे. फिलहाल just note this down. This is what emissivity is. Yes, कोई बोल रहा है कि is this the reason why people advise to not wear black clothes when it's hot outside? Yes, because black objects in general absorb visible spectrum में तो लगभग सब कुछ absorb कर रहा है. And because they absorb a lot of radiations, and radiations is basically energy, is heat, that's why they advise don't wear black clothes. Okay. So all I'm saying right now is emissivity, this is going to be a number typically between 0 and 1, but allow me to prove that. यहाँ पे ऐसा definition देख के लग तो नहीं रहा कि 0 और 1 के बीच में होना चाहिए. फिलहाल मैंने बस define किया है. आगे थोड़ा logical arguments करके we'll prove what emissivity actually means and how it's going to be something lesser than 1. So फिलहाल what I've written on this page is all you need to know. Emissive power of the body at temperature T for an emissive power of the black body. It's just a ratio. Emissivity is a ratio. It's comparing the emissive power of some body to the emissive power of a black body. Both comparisons made at the same temperature. Okay, that's what we just need to know for the time being. ये लिख के हो गया. There is white body जैसा कुछ relevant concept नहीं है. Okay? White body जैसा कुछ relevant concept नहीं है. Define कुछ नहीं किया इसका. ठीक है? All right. सिर्फ ब्लैक बॉडी होता है, सिर्फ ब्लैक बॉडी रेलेवेंट है, बाकी कलर्स हैं, यू कैन मेक योर ओन डेफिनेशंस, बट relevant to whatever we're studying, you only have a black body. All right, now we're going to hear a set of important conceptual points. Okay, so in fact, a lot of writing, it just makes sense to type this out. Okay, so what we're going to look at is a bunch of important theoretical points. Every statement of this theory is important. This is called as Yeah, I'll have to write that. Prevost, Prevost, theory of exchange. Okay. So even as I'm writing this, I want you to really ponder and try to understand how everything that I'm writing is actually something very logical. See, all these statements are very logical. So try and see if you can understand the logic behind it. First thing is, chalo, all bodies emit thermal radiations. See, all bodies emit thermal radiations at all temperatures. See, thermal radiation is something that you emit just by virtue of having some positive temperature. See, so all bodies emit thermal radiations at all temperatures except 0 Kelvin. So all bodies emit thermal radiations at all temperatures above 0 Kelvin. Okay. So that's point number 1. Okay, that's point number 1. So all bodies emit thermal radiations at all temperatures above 0 Kelvin. 0 Kelvin तो body का कुछ kinetic energy है ही नहीं. अगर body का kinetic energy है ही नहीं 0 Kelvin पे, then it cannot naturally emit any energy. If it does not have energy of its own, it cannot throw out energy from its body. But every other body above 0 Kelvin will emit thermal radiation. ठीक है, तो above 0 Kelvin या except 0 Kelvin एक ही बात है. 0 Kelvin को छोड़ के all bodies will emit thermal radiations. Okay. The next point, what does Prevost is just the name of the guy who's come up with this theory. Okay. The next one is the amount of thermal radiation radiated. So the amount of thermal energy radiated per unit time depends on the nature of the emitting surface. So see what it depends on. Depends on the nature of the emitting surface. Makes sense? Should depend on the nature of the surface. Alag-alag surface, alag-alag rate pe emit karega, kind of makes sense. So depends on the nature of the emitting surface. Depends on its area. Naturally, it should depend on the area. Jitna zyada area, utna zyada energy emit karoge naturally. So depends on the area and also depends on the temperature. Can you take a guess? ज़्यादा temperature ज़्यादा emit करेगा या lower temperature body will emit more? What will emit more? Higher temperature या lower temperature body? Higher temperature, very logical, है ना? Higher temperature body will naturally emit more thermal radiations. Then the rate, the next point is exactly that. The rate is faster. So the rate at which you're emitting energy, है ना? That rate is faster at higher temperatures. Again, logical सा चीज है. Per unit time तुम ज्यादा energy emit करोगे if you are at a higher temperature. So the rate is faster at higher temperatures. Okay, that's the third point. The fourth point is, now see what is going on. So the body absorbs let me just say a body absorbs a body absorbs some of the radiations falling on it. So a body absorbs some of the radiations falling on it. that are emitted by the surrounding bodies. लॉजिकल है ना, कि आसपास जो बॉडीज है वो भी तो अपने टेम्परेचर के वर्च्यू के कारण थर्मल एनर्जी एमिट कर रहे होंगे रेडिएशन के फॉर्म में, and so therefore a body will also be absorbing some of the radiations falling on it that are emitted by the surrounding bodies. Okay, now the amount absorbed, what will that depend on? The amount absorbed depends on, again, first of all, the nature of the body. Blacker bodies absorb more, whiter bodies absorb less. So the amount absorbed depends on the nature of the body, its area, depends on the nature of the body, its area, and its temperature. Jada area, naturally, sorry. So amount absorbed depends on the nature of the body, as blacker bodies absorb more. Depends on the area, है ना, ज्यादा area मतलब ज्यादा energy absorb करेगा, ज्यादा गिरेगा. Greater the area, more the chance of energy falling on it, तो ज्यादा absorb करेगा. And finally, it also depends on the temperature of the surrounding bodies, है ना, because surrounding bodies अगर hotter, higher temperature पे है, तो they'll be emitting more energy. तो कुल मिलके, if they emit more and more falls on you, you'll absorb more. On the other hand, if the surrounding bodies are at a lower temperature, they'll emit less, less will fall on you, you'll absorb less. So body absorbs some of the radiations falling on it, emitted by the surrounding bodies. कितना absorb करता है, किस पे depend करता है वो, depends on the nature of the body that is absorbing, depends on that absorbing body's area, and depends on the temperature of the surrounding bodies. Okay? Depends on the temperature of the surrounding bodies. Any doubt till point 4? Doesn't depend on the mass, only depends on the surface area. It does not depend on the mass. This is all a surface phenomena. So it depends on surface area कितना है, depends on वो surface का surface क्या है, sorry, surface का material क्या है, अंदर कितना mass है, उस पे depend नहीं करता है. Okay, so I'll just explain point 4 again. And again, somebody is asking about 0 Kelvin. कोई बोल रहा है ये 0 Kelvin वाला प्रूव कैसे कर सकते हैं? प्रूव करने की बात ही नहीं है. 0 Kelvin is that ideal temperature where the bodies have no kinetic energy. So if they have no kinetic energy, they are not going to be able to radiate any thermal energy at their expense. जिसका खुद का energy नहीं है, वो कहाँ से बाहर energy फेंकेगा? Therefore, 0 Kelvin, bodies cannot emit thermal energy. Explaining point 4, bodies will absorb radiations from the surrounding bodies. So around any particular object, there may be other objects. They are emitting heat. So this particular object is going to absorb radiations from them. कितना absorb करता है? What all factors does that depend on? पहले तो depends on the nature of the absorbing body. Black है, simple words, black है, थोड़ा ज़्यादा absorb करेगा, white वाला कम absorb करेगा, है ना? So depends on the nature, material of the surface. Surface, okay, material of the surface. This is a surface phenomena. Depends on the surface area. And how much surface area is exposed to radiations, because it has to absorb from the surface. It depends on the surface area. And then it depends on the temperature of the surrounding bodies. The surrounding body is hotter temperature पे है तो तुम पे ज़्यादा energy गिरेगा. Surrounding body is colder temperature पे है तो तुम पे कम energy मिलेगा. Why are the days hot? Why is the night cold or whatever? I mean, even in the day you have the sun, जिससे energy गिर रहा है earth पे. That's why it's hotter. At night you don't have the sun. Moon's at a lower temperature, कम energy गिर रहा है earth पे. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Okay, got that? Okay. This is a surface phenomena. This, how much you absorb, has nothing to do with mass. You go out in the rain and you wear a raincoat. whether you get wet or not does not depend on your mass. It just depends on whether you're fully covered or not. That's kind of the idea. So it depends on the surface that is exposed. यहाँ पे if a body 0.5, if a body is at the same temperature as its surroundings. So if a body is at the same temperature, this is now interesting. If a body is at the same temperature as its surroundings, what will happen? We know that its temperature will not change. Okay, its temperature will not change. But and in fact, a lot of people are saying that there is no heat exchange. Is there really going to be no heat exchange, or is something else going to happen? Are the bodies going to magically stop emitting energy? There will be very nice, nice word somebody is using. There will be an equilibrium. So what is going to happen is if the body is at the same temperature as its surroundings, its temperature will not change. And this is not because surrounding object stops emitting energy and we stop emitting energy. It is because the rate of emission is the rate of absorption. Very nice. It's because the body radiates. Its temperature will not change and it will radiate the amount it absorbs. It radiates the amount it absorbs. Yeah. It radiates the amount it absorbs. So there are these two separate phenomena taking place, and the rates of those, the rates of those two phenomena become equal. So what are the two separate things taking place? One is, as a virtue of its temperature, the body is going to emit heat. Okay? But then, based on the surrounding objects ka temperature, it's also going to receive heat. So when a body is at equilibrium, when a body ka temperature is the same as its surroundings, what is really happening is the body is absorbing heat from the surroundings and is also emitting heat to the surroundings. And these two rates are exactly the same. That's why temperature stops changing. Okay? It's going to make more sense maybe if you see the next point. So what is the next point saying? If it radiates more, if a body radiates more than it absorbs, if a body radiates more than it absorbs, what's going to happen to its temperature? If a body radiates more than it absorbs, its temperature will decrease. It's radiating मतलब बाहर फेंक रहा है. So if it radiates more than it absorbs, its temperature falls or decreases. Okay? So if it radiates more than it absorbs, its temperature decreases. ये कब होगा? When will it radiate more than it absorbs? This is typically if the surrounding temperature is less. Tub is going to radiate more than it absorbs. Okay? And if a body radiates less than it absorbs, its temperature increases. So now can you understand कैसा ये एक dynamic equilibrium type हो रहा है ना? So it's not कि heat transfer stops. Heat exchange is continuously taking place. ठीक है? Heat exchange is continuously taking place. The only thing is, what is really happening is, if your temperature is lesser than the surroundings, then you are going to radiate less. And as you radiate less and absorb more, your temperature will increase. As you radiate less and absorb more, your temperature will increase. On the other hand, if your temperature is more than the surroundings, then you're going to radiate more and absorb less. and then your temperature will decrease. Okay, got it? Understood what's going on? Logical statement. Yeah, lecture is till 8:45. Logical statements. Okay. All right. Cool. So this is the idea. This is your Prevost's theory of exchange. लिख लो जल्दी. If anybody is in fact still writing, say wait. Waiting. Hey, I'm not waiting for 10 minutes. थोड़ा जल्दी लिख लो. 1 minute. लिखो. ठीक है, लिखते जाओ. Don't stop as I explain some of these doubts. Those who are writing, keep writing. एक बंदा पूछा, what will happen if the surrounding has higher temperature and an object which is a source of energy has lower temperature? So simple सी बात है, if your object has lower temperature, okay, so this is our object and this is our surroundings. जिसका टेम्परेचर कम है, if T1 is lesser than T2, the body is going to radiate less, because if you can see the amount a body radiates depends on its temperature, but the amount a body absorbs, पता नहीं कहाँ पे लिखा था. हाँ, whatever, the amount it absorbs depends on the temperature of the surrounding. तो अगर T2 ज्यादा है, radiate ये कम करेगा, absorb ज्यादा करेगा. So it radiates less and absorbs more. So because it absorbs more, it's going to increase its temperature. Because it absorbs more, T1 increases. And this process will go on till there is an equilibrium. Okay? So as long as T1 and T2 बराबर नहीं हो जाते हैं, हाँ, as long as T1 T2 बराबर नहीं हो जाते हैं, ये body will continue to absorb more because surrounding का temperature ज़्यादा है. Will continue to absorb more. Finally, एक point के बाद temperatures बराबर हो जाएगा. Okay, that's kind of the idea. This is, yes, it's a dynamic equilibrium. So you should understand कि heat, the main idea of this is heat transfer does not stop. This is not like conduction. Conduction में the minute two bodies have the same temperature, heat transfer stops. यहाँ पे the bodies are constantly emitting heat and absorbing heat. When the temperature becomes same, rate of absorption and rate of emission becomes the same. Okay, that's the idea. If you're still writing, say wait. Done. Okay. चलो. Ideal black body is impossible to create. कोई बोल रहा है, मतलब हाँ, by itself For a material to be perfectly black, chances are less. But you can create something like this, which statistically is almost perfectly black. एकदम उतना impossible नहीं है. But yeah, you can make a body which is very, very, very close to an ideal black body, which it'll probably absorb almost. जैसे वो Fairy's black body is a good example of an ideal black body. The probability of it reflecting light is almost negligible. Okay. Yes, black holes and all. Let's keep that to a time where you know a lot more physics to talk about that. But yeah, black holes can be considered as good black bodies. All right. Some more properties of thermal. So just mentioning absolutely not. Black holes are not taught for GE. Some more properties of thermal radiations. Okay. So just again, just for you to know. Okay. First thing is Maxwell on the basis of his. Again, this is just FYI. Maxwell on the basis of his electromagnetic theory proved that all radiations are electromagnetic waves. Okay? EM is short for electromagnetic, and EM waves is just another way of talking about light. Light is the only electromagnetic wave. See? So Maxwell, on the basis of his electromagnetic theory, proved that all radiations are electromagnetic waves and their sources. How do you create an EM wave? This is something you will learn towards the end of electromagnetism, and also in communication systems you'll by then understand this. And their sources are vibrations. No, Prithvi, not in this chapter. And the sources are vibrations of charged particles in atoms and molecules. All right. So at the heart of it, this is where it's originating from. It's originating because of moving charged particles. So Maxwell on the basis of his and moving charged particles के कारण ये Q setup होता है, perpendicular electric magnetic field Q setup होता है, EM wave. वो you will understand by the time we reach the end of electromagnetism. So just know this as a fact for now कि EM waves originate कहाँ से करते हैं? For some reason they are originating because of vibrating charged particles. Okay? So for some reason they are originating because of vibrating charged particles. The second thing is, the second point you should know is thermal radiations are as good as light. So because they are as good as light, they travel with the speed of light and they undergo all sorts of properties that light shows. So thermal radiations travel with the speed of light always. So they travel with the speed of light, move in a straight line. जो भी light का property होता है वो ये thermal radiations का property होगा. Obvious stuff. Move in a straight line. can be reflected, refracted, polarized. Polarized is a term we learn in wave optics. Basically, whatever light undergoes, these guys undergo because these are light. See, thermal radiations is energy moving in the form of light, can be reflected, refracted, and all sorts of stuff that light experiences. Just to name a few. Okay? In simple words, thermal radiations are light. Okay? Just note this down quickly. All right. One of you saying, can we conclude that radiations are due to excitation and de-excitation of electrons? Not just that. Not just that. It's not just excite. Again, excitation and de-excitation. You're speaking from an understanding which does not incorporate this key. Actually, because the reason you're associating that with this is because you do not know that moving charged particles create an electromagnetic wave. If I take any charged particle, जिसका mass है, जिसका charge है 1 coulomb, and I oscillate this to and fro, you'll find that this sets up an electromagnetic wave, which is what communication systems use. How do you communicate from one device to another? You're sending information via light, and you're sending that information by manipulating charged particles. So because you've not seen that idea yet, you're thinking it only comes from excitation and de-excitation of electrons. It's coming just by the fact that, of course, they will, of course, corresponding to excitation, de-excitation, kuch energy release hoga. We're not denying that. Yeah, that's what you've learned in atomic structure. But these thermal radiations in general, by virtue of the fact that at a higher temperature, molecules keep vibrating and thereby charged particles are vibrating to and fro, you are going to find energy released, EM waves released because of those charged particles vibrating. In fact, whenever they accelerate, they emit an EM wave. So that's again something we'll keep for later. By the time you go through electromagnetism, it'll make more sense to you. Okay? So again, don't worry about these words. Polarized, diffracted, these are things which light undergoes. Okay? So you're going to learn in wave optics that light can be polarized, light can be diffracted. What I'm saying over here is thermal radiations are light. They are light. That's it. So if light can be polarized and diffracted, thermal radiations can be polarized and diffracted. Don't think of thermal radiations as some weird hot thing leaving a body. Thermal radiation hai kya? Light hai. Okay? Most of the time it lies in the infrared region, so we're not nicely being able to see that, but it's light. And like normal light can be polarized and diffracted, this light also can be polarized and diffracted. Okay? And that's the idea. Okay, Ayush, let's not get into that. थोड़ा basics सीख लेते हैं. ठीक है? All right. Cool. Done with that page. Now, a very simple law. I think this is maybe one of the first formulas that you're going to see as a which can come as a numerical. And actually, there's no challenge in this. It's a very, very, very simple formula. But first, let's understand the law. So this is, of course, named after the scientist, Wien's displacement law. And what this law says is, yeah, so there are, you can say, two statements for this. First thing is, for black body radiation. Yeah, a lot of people, while remembering a law, they just remember the final formula, or they just remember the most important point. But I would say every single term is really important. For instance, you should know key starters itself, whatever this guy is going to talk about is exclusively for black body radiation. His law is for black body radiation. So he's saying for black body radiation, what is black body radiation? Simple words, thermal radiation from a black body. Okay? So for black body radiation, you're going to find that as T increases, so in fact, actually, let me come back to the statement in a bit. First, I'm going to show you the graph, and then let's talk about his law. So first and foremost, this is the graph E lambda, which we saw a little while ago, spectral emissive power plotted against different wavelengths. And what you find is, you'll typically find that your graph looks like this. I think it has a maxima somewhere. It has a maxima somewhere. Let's say that maxima occurs at lambda M1. Here, this is for temperature T1. So at temperature T1, your graph looks like this, and your maxima occurs at a wavelength lambda M1. M is for the maxima. Okay, 1 is the specific case. Now, when I increase the temperature, do you expect this area to increase or decrease? What will happen to the area? As temperature increases, will emissive power increase or decrease? Will energy emitted per unit area per unit time increase or decrease? We just talked about this. As temperature increases, the emissive power will increase. Energy emitted per unit area per unit time will increase. So as temperature increases, the area under the graph will increase, because what does the area under the graph represent? Total emissive power. So as temperature increases, the area under the graph increases. As temperature increases, the area under the graph, yeah, fair enough. The area under the graph increases, because the area under the graph is total emissive power. We have seen the total emissive power is the integration of E lambda with respect to lambda all the way from 0 to infinity. Means basically you're just integrating that across all possible wavelengths. So as T increases, the area under the graph increases. So at a higher temperature, you're going to find a larger area, which I'll draw in a bit. But what happens to the maxima? Okay, so now this is not something you can guess, but what basically happens to the maxima is, it's been established experimentally. So established experimentally established experimentally the wavelength corresponding to एक minute guys, let me finish writing this, then I'll check it out. The wavelength corresponding to the maximum intensity, the wavelength corresponding to the maximum E lambda लिख लेता हूँ, the wavelength corresponding to the maximum spectral emissive power okay, which is what we're going to represent as wavelength lambda m corresponding to the maximum emissive power is inversely proportional to the temperature of the body. So is inversely proportional to the temperature of the body. Yeah, this is something which has been found experimentally. All right. So what he's saying is, if you increase the temperature, how is this graph going to look? So when you increase the temperature, okay, so at a higher temperature, let me just first zoom in to the graph and then I'll come back. So at a higher temperature, the graph is going to look like this. So two things happen. First and foremost, the area increases, but as you can see, gray graph ka area zyada hai, but you can also observe that the temperature has, or the maximum, the location of the wavelength has decreased. The wavelength for which maximum intensity is coming, that has decreased. And that has shifted towards the that has shifted towards the left. So जहाँ पे maxima आ रहा है, that has decreased. Okay. This is what you'll see at T2. And at T3, at a high, even higher temperature, again, or the area, I think you get the idea. Even further or higher temperature, again, as you increase temperature, the maxima keeps shifting towards the left and the area keeps increasing. So that is the idea. At a even higher temperature, again, maxima or left ki taraf aayega and area or बढ़ते जाएगा. So that is what is happening to this graph. So I'm just going to keep 2. That serves the idea. T2 is greater than T1. So at a higher temperature, area is increased. Maxima, the lambda corresponding to the maxima has decreased. The lambda corresponding to the maxima has decreased. So this is something which has been observed experimentally. This is something which has been observed experimentally. That's his law. This is something which has been observed experimentally. Okay? And now his law essentially says this, कि for a black body, you're going to find, that the wavelength corresponding to the maxima is nicely related to temperature by this simple equation. Lambda is some constant upon T. Lambda corresponding to the maximum wavelength is some constant upon T. That constant is, of course, represented by the symbol B, as you can see. The value of that constant is 2.82 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter Kelvin. Meter Kelvin. I'm going to put a hyphen so that you don't read it as milli Kelvin. That's the purpose of the hyphen. Meter Kelvin. 2.82 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter Kelvin. This is called as Wien's constant. 2.82. Okay. And यहाँ पे while using this formula, make sure, first of all, make sure that this is a black body, and also make sure this is temperature measured in Kelvin. Okay. The equation, the constant is for temperature measured in Kelvin. The equation, the nature of the equation is for temperature measured in Kelvin. Okay? The first word over here was established experimentally. Established. Established experimentally. So this entire law and this formula has been established experimentally. Okay? I think JE normally gives these values. Okay? JE will normally give you the value of the Wien's constant. So as such, everything will be given. You even find hydrogen ka atomic number will be given on the first page. But yaad, if you can memorize it, yaad kar lo. No harm in trying to remember it. 2.82 into 10 to the power minus 2. Okay. In fact, you might have experienced this ki when we start heating an object, at first take any random object, you will find ki it's not emitting any specific color. If you look at like for instance, if you look at a steel plate, it's not emitting color visible to your eyes, it's reflecting light. And a steel plate typically will reflect whatever light is falling on it, and predominantly the color that comes out is gray, so it looks gray to us. But is it really emitting a visible color? Not really emitting any visible color. But then as you start heating it, yes, this is B, this is B. See, as you start heating that iron plate, a steel plate, you will find that it starts glowing red. Now that glow that you're getting is due to an emitted color. Earlier kya ho raha tha? The steel plate was at a lower temperature and it's emitting radiations of all wavelengths. Note, they don't emit radiations of just one wavelength. You emit radiations of all wavelengths. But what is predominant? So at a lower temperature, the wavelengths that were predominant were in the infrared region. इसलिए ऐसा लगता नहीं है कि स्टील प्लेट कुछ color emit कर रहा है. It's just reflecting light, so it's not looking like it's emitting any color at a normal temperature. But as you start to heat iron, you know that it glows red. When it's glowing red, what has happened? It's now emitting radiations in the visible region, and it's emitting radiations in the visible region, more specifically towards the red end of the visible spectrum. That's why when you heat an iron object, it starts to, after a certain point, glow red, because that object is now at a temperature where the maximum wavelength corresponds to the red end of the visible spectrum. Understood? So you might have noticed ki agar, now maybe you may have not noticed these kind of things, but as you further heat it, you'll find ki it glows yellow. And or further heat karo, it glows white. At higher and higher temperatures, no, I mean, you probably are not able to visualize this because I mean, you have not experimentally sat and heated objects to a very high temperature. But when you further start heating it, you'll see that the wavelength further decreases. So infrared end se visible red mein aa gaya, fir visible yellow. And fir white just means a mixture, orange bhi aa jayega, orange bhi aayega. And then white just means ki equal red, equal blue, equal green. All right, so it starts to be so bright that it appears white to us. But what is really happening is now you have the blue end as well, you have the red end as well, and therefore the overall mix appears white to us. The overall mix appears white to us. All right. और टेम्परेचर बढ़ा हो ना, तुम्हें फिर थोड़ा ब्लूइश एंड भी दिखना स्टार्ट करेगा, पर्पल ब्लू दिखना स्टार्ट करेगा. इनफैक्ट इलेक्ट्रिक स्पार्क्स, those electric sparks and all, At that temperature, you typically find um, what color visible at those temperatures? Somewhat whitish, bluish, purplish. So really high temperatures emit light in that kind of region. White, blue, purple. Can one of you think, can iron really glow green? So the idea is it may not glow green. Well, actually green, if by since green lies in the middle of the spectrum, by then kya ho jayega? It's already glowing red, it's already emitting red colors. And as it's reaching an average of green, it's also starting to emit blue colors. So because of the intense radiation, it's going to appear to you as white light. Maxima green पे होगा, पर बगल में red भी है, बगल में blue भी emit हो रहा है, and it's going to look to you as green light. कोई बोल रहा है when iron corrodes it gets green. बाबा एक चीज समझो, we are don't get confused, I'm not talking about color. ठीक है, normal objects in front of us, don't think a red object and a don't think a blue object is hotter than a red object. I'm not talking about the color of the object. वो एक normal color होता है. I'm talking about when you heat it to a point that it starts emitting a specific color. See, the color of an object is based on what it chooses to reflect. Green object, blue object, they're reflecting different colors. That's why they look like that. ये जब तुम heat करोगे, it's going to glow red. Glow मतलब तुम्हें समझ में आ रहा है कि उससे लाल कलर का light निकल रहा है. ठीक है, so that is an emitted radiation, not something is reflecting from outside. That's something which is an emitted radiation. You put off the light, you can still see the metal glow red. That is what we are talking about. It's emitting radiation of its own. It was always doing that, but at normal temperatures, it does in the infrared region. Now it starts to do it in the visible region. So as you increase temperature, red, yellow, for bright white, for bright whitish blue, जैसा कुछ दिखेगा. You know, that's kind of the idea. Burning coals is another example. Yeah, they start to look red, orange. They're at such a high temperature, they're emitting their own heat. Okay. Gaurav, could be. All right. Yes, we are done for the day. एक क्या doubt था ये? एक second. E is equal to Q upon AT and A increase. अच्छा, कोई बोल रहा है कि अच्छा यार emissive power temperature के साथ बढ़ता है. You are saying कि emissive power is Q by area into time and heat करने पे area बढ़ता है, fair enough, but उतना भी नहीं बढ़ता है. Yes, just a small percentage as we have discussed in thermal expansion. Heat करने पे area उतना भी नहीं बढ़ता है, उतना भी नहीं बढ़ता है. And I can even in a way say कि area बड़ा होगा, but the count of atoms on the surface would stay the same. So that may not cause a big difference. The main idea is at a higher temperature, those atoms vibrate more vigorously, and therefore energy emitted per unit time in general is more. That's why emissive power increases on increasing temperature. All right, so guys, for next class is revise these notes. Be clear in your, remember that Prevost theory, be clear in your head. Don't confuse between emissivity and emissive power, and we're going to build on that further. Simple, नीचे एक simple formula है. Get clear of all your doubts by the time you come to the next class. Try to remember the value of this Vn's constant. Just revise your notes and come, basically. Yes, Ayush, again, that would again be something which is at a very high temperature. So again, by virtue of its temperature, it's going to emit. Bye. Yeah. हाँ, sorry, अभी upload कर लेता हूँ recording without fail. Bye. Welcome. Bye.
So,
Huh?
so I was saying that over the course of time, uh,
Uh,
objects might lose away their mass, might radiate away their mass. Uh, they lose their mass as a form of energy, because mass is in itself is a manifestation of energy. So then, why aren't we considering mass to be a contributing factor towards radiation?
nee, but why would they do that in a given period of finite time?
Not in a finite time. So yes.
So I mean, the time period in which we really observe an object would be that small in
Oh, okay. So
that
so
sense.
so, so that's the reason we aren't considering it.
Uh, you typically find mass being converted to energy only in nuclear reactions, where
Yes,
certain uh,
yes, sir, in accelerators.
yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.